You have probably already tried this. You stood in front of the bathroom mirror, looked yourself in the eye, and said the words out loud. I am wealthy. Money comes to me easily. And a quieter, colder voice in the back of your head said, no, it doesn't, and you felt faintly ridiculous, and by Thursday you had quit. That failure was not your fault. You were doing the right thing at the wrong hour to the wrong part of your mind. Because there is a window about 5 minutes, twice a day, when the part of you that calls you a liar goes quiet, when it steps away from the door. And anything you say in that window does not get argued with. It gets accepted and quietly built. The old teachers seem to disagree about this. One says the secret is to repeat the words until they take. Another says words are useless unless you feel them, in a state close to sleep. They sound like opposites. They are not. They are describing the same 5 minutes from two windows, and once you learn to find that window on purpose, you can hand your own mind a new instruction about money and watch it obey. Let me show you exactly how. First, why the mirror never worked. You have two minds, though it is really one mind working two ways. There is the daytime mind, the one reading the road, arguing with itself, keeping score. It is a skeptic by design, and it should be. It rejects things. That is its job. Underneath it is a deeper, older mind that does not argue at all. It has no sense of humor and no critical faculty. Whatever the daytime mind lets through, this deeper one simply accepts as an order and then goes to work making your life match it. It is running right now, on instructions you gave it years ago and mostly forgot. Here is the problem with the mirror. At 8 in the morning, chest out, forcing a smile, shouting affirmations at your own reflection, the daytime skeptic is wide awake and standing squarely in the doorway. Every good word you say bounces straight off it. You are not reprogramming anything. You are having an argument with yourself and losing. This is where most modern positivity quietly fails. It tells you to say the words louder, with more belief, more energy, when the whole trouble is that you are talking to the guard instead of getting past him. Wrong mind, wrong hour. A French pharmacist worked this out more than 100 years ago. His name was Émile Coué, and around the turn of the last century he ran a small apothecary in the town of Troyes. He noticed something strange at his own counter. When he handed a patient their medicine and said a few warm, certain words over it, "This will help you. You will feel better." Soon, they recovered faster than the medicine alone could explain. The words were doing part of the healing. Coué spent the rest of his life studying that. He had trained under the great hypnotists of his day, and he stripped the mystery out of it. What he taught, in the end, was almost embarrassingly simple. He gave people one short sentence to repeat every day, in every way, "I am getting better and better," and he told them exactly when to say it, not in the busy middle of the day. First thing on waking, and last thing before sleep, while they were still soft and drowsy and half under, 20 quiet repetitions, in a bored, flat voice, with no effort at all. And people got better, thousands of them, at his clinic in Nancy. Not because the sentence was magic, because he had found the hour when the guard was off duty. Coué left us one more picture, and it is the key to the whole thing. Imagine a plank of wood lying flat on the floor. Anyone can walk its length without a wobble. Now imagine that same plank laid between the roofs of 2 high towers. Not one of us could cross it. The legs shake, the stomach drops, we freeze in place. The plank has not changed. Only the image in the mind has. And notice, no amount of willpower can force you across. When the will and the imagination pull against each other, Coué said, the imagination wins every single time, which means the goal was never to try harder. It was to change the picture, and you change the picture in that drowsy 5 minutes, not by force, but by feeding it. Step 1. Sink below the surface. So the whole method begins not with the words, but with the state. Before you say anything, you have to get underneath the skeptic. You have to become a little drowsy on purpose. Neville Goddard called this the state akin to sleep, and he taught that it was the single most powerful condition a human being can enter, not sleep itself, the doorway to it. That soft, heavy, half-dreaming stillness you pass through every night without noticing on your way down. In that state, he said, the deeper mind lies open and undefended, and whatever you rehearse there is taken for real. You already visit this doorway twice a day, as you surface in the morning before you are fully awake, and as you sink at night before you are fully asleep. Those are your 2 5-minute windows, and they are free. Most people spend them replaying yesterday's worries, which is itself a kind of hypnosis, just aimed at the wrong target. You can also enter it deliberately, sitting in a chair in the middle of the day. Sit back. Let your body go heavy, from the crown of your head down through your shoulders, your hands, your legs, until it feels too much trouble to move. Let your breathing slow and lengthen on its own. Let your eyes grow heavy and close. You are not trying to sleep. You are trying to reach that quiet ledge just above sleep and rest there. Goddard called it attention without effort. Nothing installs while you are wide awake and trying hard. The trying is the noise. The stillness is the door. Step 2. Empty the screen. Once you are drowsy, there is one obstacle left to chatter. The daytime mind does not like being idle. The moment you go quiet, it starts throwing up the day's leftovers, the email you forgot, the thing someone said, tomorrow's list. You cannot force that noise to stop. Fight it, and you wake yourself back up. What you can do is give the surface mind one small, boring job, so it settles. Coué understood this perfectly. He had his patients count their 20 repetitions on a little string with 20 knots in it, slipping one knot through the fingers at a time. People assumed the string was some ritual object. It was not. It was a decoy. It gave the restless surface mind something dull to hold on to counting knots, so it would stop interfering while the real work went in underneath. You can do the same with your breath. Let your slow breathing be the string. Follow it in, follow it out, and let it count itself down. Each breath, imagine the screen behind your eyes going darker, emptier, quieter, clearing the day off it like wiping a fogged window. When a stray thought drifts across it, and it will, you do not chase it and you do not scold it. You let it float on by, the way you would watch a car pass, and you come back to the breath. Each pass leaves the screen a little stiller than before. You are not adding anything yet. You are making room. One clean, empty screen and one drowsy, unguarded mind, waiting for a single instruction. Step 3. Hand it one sentence. Now, and only now, you speak inwardly, gently, into that stillness, and you hand the deeper mind exactly one thing. Not a speech, not a list of 10 goals. One short sentence about money, built the right way. It has to be present tense, as though it were already true. Not, I will be wealthy one day. The deeper mind does not deal in someday, and one day always stays one day away. You say it as a fact that already is. Money comes to me easily and often. I am good with money, and money is good to me. There is always more than enough. Pick one, make it yours. Keep it short enough to fit in a single breath. And here is the part everyone gets wrong. You do not say it with force. You do not clench and push and try to make it true by sheer will. Remember, the plank force is exactly what freezes you on it, and force will not press this sentence in either. So you drop the effort entirely. You say it the way you would murmur that the sky is gray, flat, certain, already settled, a little bored even. That boredom is the sound of belief, a thing so ordinary to you now that it needs no convincing. If you want the exact wording done for you, the precise present tense lines the old teachers would have handed you, and the short instructions on how to use them morning and night, so they actually take, I made a free daily auto-suggestion sheet for exactly this. It is the first link in the description. Download it, keep it by the bed, and let it do this step for you. Step 4. Make it real with feeling. A sentence alone can still be shrugged off. What carries it down past the last of the skeptic, what makes the deeper mind take it as an order rather than a wish, is feeling. The sentence is the seed. The feeling is the water. Without it, nothing sprouts. So as you murmur the words, you build the scene that goes with them, and you let yourself feel it as done, not watched from the outside like a film lived from the inside. Feel the quiet weight of money that is simply there, and no longer a worry. Feel the loosening in your chest when the bill is nothing. Feel the plain private pride of being someone for whom this is normal now. Hold that warmth for a few breaths. That warmth is the mind accepting the order. Napoleon Hill built his whole practice on this. In his own work, he wrote out a short statement of the person he intended to become, and he read it aloud every single day, out loud, with faith not once but until it soaked in. He called the mechanism autosuggestion, and he was blunt about the catch. Words read without emotion, he said, will not influence the deeper mind at all. Feeling is what gives them entry. Repetition plus feeling. That was Hill's formula, and it is the same door Coué and Goddard were standing in. You have watched people do this without knowing the name for it. A young Austrian bodybuilder, long before anyone had heard of him, used to close his eyes and see himself already holding the trophy, already the champion, so clearly and so often that stepping on the stage felt like a memory rather than a hope. The mind is the limit, he said years later. As long as it can picture the thing as already true, the body will find the way there. His name was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he reprogrammed the man before he ever built the body. That is this exact step, done nightly, for years. And by the way, if these 4 old teachers are becoming a voice in your corner, take 1 second to subscribe so their work keeps finding you. Then come right back, because the last step is the one that seals it. Step 5. Let it set, and let it go. You have sunk below the surface. You have emptied the screen. You have handed down 1 sentence and warmed it with feeling. The final step is the one that separates the people this works for from the people it teases, and it is the opposite of what you would expect. You let go. You repeat the sentence gently, a handful of times, until it starts to feel less like something you are saying and more like something that is simply so. And then you release it completely, and you let yourself sink the rest of the way into sleep. You do not clutch it. You do not lie there afterward checking the mailbox of your life to see if it worked yet. Coué was firm about this, and it is where most people ruin the whole thing. The moment you ask, is it working, he warned, you have picked the seed back up to look at it, and you have handed the reins back to the anxious daytime mind, the very one you spent 5 minutes getting past. Doubt is not the absence of the practice. Doubt is you undoing the practice. So you plant it, and you walk away, and you trust the ground. Do this at the 2 doorways as you fall asleep, and again as you wake. The falling asleep one matters most, because whatever you carry through that final door plays on repeat in the deeper mind for hours while you rest, with no skeptic left awake to object. Goddard put the whole law into 1 line. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Your deeper mind cannot tell a scene you rehearsed with feeling from one you actually lived. Hand it the same wealthy self, night after night, and it stops treating that self as a wish, and starts treating it as your baseline, and then it does what it has always done. It reorganizes what you notice, the ideas that occur to you, the moves you make, the chances you finally reach for, until the outer life is dragged into line with the inner one. You will catch yourself opening the conversation you used to duck, doing the sum instead of dreading it, saying yes to the room you would once have shrunk out of. None of it will feel like force. It will feel like you, a slightly different you, running on a slightly different instruction. 5 minutes, twice a day. That is the entire machine. Let me be honest with you about how this actually arrives, so you do not quit 3 nights in. At first it will feel like nothing, like murmuring into an empty room, or posting letters to an address that does not exist. That stretch is not failure, it is the sound of an old belief being worn down, and it is exactly where most people give up, 1 week short. Then the change shows up, and it shows up backwards, not as a grand feeling first, but as a small event. A figure that used to make your stomach tighten gets said out loud to you, and, this time, you notice you did not flinch. A door you had stopped even looking at is suddenly ajar. And only then, standing in that little piece of evidence, does the new belief finish setting, because now it has something solid to stand on. The proof does not come after the belief. The proof is what finishes building it. That crossing from saying it to knowing it is the whole reason I built the 1-4-day money magnet. It is 14 days, 1 short email and 1 small action each day, pointed at your very first piece of proof on purpose. It costs a little, deliberately, because only people willing to put something down ever actually do the work. But if you do the 14 days and no proof arrives, you write to me, and I return every penny. The risk sits with me, not you. You will find it in the description too. Tonight, when the day finally loosens its grip and you feel yourself starting to sink, do not spend that doorway rehearsing what you are afraid of. That window is the most valuable 5 minutes you own, and you have been giving it away to worry your whole life. Spend it instead handing your deeper mind the life you actually want. It has been faithfully building whatever you fed it all along. For once, feed it something worth building.